When are you voting on this continuing resolution, and should we assume that you will vote for it?
I will vote for it. We may have one amendment, I think, offered by Senator Paul before we move on to it. We will have final passage tonight, so we will avert another shutdown threat, actually early by our standards. So I'm glad that we're doing it a couple of days early. But we've got to get out of this cycle. This is a very expensive process. We need a consistent, longer-term view of spending. And to the point in your prior segment, we've also got to get serious about our debt. We are going to reach a point to where we'll run out of our credit line. We're reaching a point now where mandatory spending alone will consume all the revenue coming into the U.S. government. What do we do with the 20% that's not mandatory spending? So we have to have a serious discussion about that at the same time that we're dealing with the conflict in Ukraine, Israel, and other threats.
When is the Senate going to have a serious conversation then, Senator, about those very issues? Can you salvage this supplemental budget request in December, potentially send it back to the House and get it done in time for the new year? Or is this going to be piecemeal and a wait for Israel and Ukraine?
Well, I hope, we're involved in discussions, and we should be instructed by the president's request. The president did request funding for Israel, for Ukraine, for Taiwan, but also for border security. And so we have to get the four legs of that stool together. We're actively working on a border security strategy, which I think is critically important. Of course, we have to support Israel, and I am 100% behind sustaining the investment for Ukraine. We're at it's not quiesce, but we're in a lowered state of hostilities right now in Ukraine. But once we get through the winter and we get back into the fighting season in the spring, it's going to be critically important for us to have resources. Now, one advantage that we do have is that we have nearly 50 nations cooperating and participating, helping support Ukraine. So I think that even as we are concerned with U.S. flow of money and materials, we can also call on our partners, I think, to smooth out the edges. But at the end of the day, I, for one, would like a package that has border security, Israel and Ukraine funding, and Taiwan funding as well.
Senator, when it comes to the issue of border security, though, that and just more widely efforts in Congress to do something about immigration have been tried time and again, and it's obviously not that easy to execute, as we have learned. Is there real danger in trying to force a border security measure with the funding for these countries that are in active conflict as we speak?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to keep in mind that the Biden administration has allowed a fourfold increase in crossings over the border. 1.5 million people, we simply don't know who they are or where they are. They're called known gotaways. There's no rational basis for somebody to try and evade being apprehended by Border Patrol because you're released within a matter of a couple of days. So it raises a question about the backgrounds of those people. We cannot diminish the threat that this unabated flow that Biden has allowed. This is a fourfold increase. Now, I will tell you that the reason it was instructive that President Biden had border security in his request, he has a problem. And it's a national security, homeland security problem, but it's also a political problem. So I don't think that Republicans are the only ones who recognize that we've got to make progress on border security, and we've got to get it done. Now, to the point on timing, the thing that worries me or the thing that frustrates me about Washington is when we set a deadline, we almost never get something done early. I hope that we break the cycle on this one. I hope that we have a definitive answer for Israel, Ukraine, and the American people on border security before Christmas.
The House may not feel the same way about that, Senator. What do you think of the new Speaker as a working partner on these issues, seeing what he's done so far with that supplemental request? He bifurcated Israeli funding, passed it, and it sits.
Yeah. Well, I think that those of us who support both Israel and Ukraine funding believe that we should be moving that as a block. We cannot have a lapse in Ukraine funding. That could have been a strategy on the part of some members of the House who apparently do not want to support sustaining the Ukraine effort. I completely disagree with them. I think that history will remember them in a very, very negative light, I should say. So we've got to work together. I do think that the Speaker is doing the best with the hand that he's dealt. And this is a case where I think the Republicans need to understand that the American people want us to lead. And leading means we have to address these pressing problems. And we've got about a month, a little over a month to solve this. And I will work very hard and hopefully work on a productive basis with the House members to get the supplemental passed. But it is go time. And I expect leadership out of the House. I expect leadership out of the Senate.
So, Senator, if the Senate were to send Israel and Ukraine funding together in a package to the House, you would expect that Speaker Johnson will indeed bring that to the floor?
I hope so. And if you take a look at the way that he got the CR done, he had to do it on the suspension calendar. He did not have sufficient Republican support to make it a party line vote. I think that the Speaker is going to have to be creative. I do not envy him. I was Speaker of the House of the state legislature. There's no way you can give me Speaker over this body right now because it's very, very difficult to manage. So I compliment him on being able to get this done, the CR done in time. But now we're going to have to work on a bipartisan basis to solve these problems. The global world order is literally at stake, and that should be a reason that everybody sets aside their partisan preferences, like my own, and get this done.
Which brings us to the matter of military readiness, Senator, and I wonder if you have a message to military families who might be watching or listening this evening after the Senate Rules Committee made some changes. It was a party line vote, I realize, to move promotions en bloc, as we call it, in the face of this blockade by Senator Tommy Tuberville. The rules have changed. The Democrats, as we're hearing, have given you the tool to act, Senator. Do you plan to use it and move these promotions before the holidays?
Keep in mind that it's what they call a standing order. So the rules, I don't want to get too technical, but it's a standing order that only exists for this Congress. And it's only as good as the ability to convince assuming every Democrat votes for it, 9 Republicans to vote for it to move nominations. So we've got the mechanics to work through. We absolutely are dealing with the readiness and national security challenge, and we need to get these nominations through. I completely agree with Senator Tuberville on the policy issue. I, for one, think the president is breaking the law, and I believe there will be a lawsuit brought against him for appropriating these taxpayer dollar funds. That's going to take time to fix. We need a solution soon, because we're going to reach a point where almost 3/4 of the officers affected by Senator Tuberville's hold are going to be affected by this policy. We've got to get past it. The last thing we need right now is our men and women leaders in the military thinking about this with all the threats we're facing worldwide.
You think that these promotions will be handled then before year end?
I think you're going to see some movement. And I think it all depends on how you package some of the nominations. You get down to the specific positions, the specific posts. But my guess is that it will be used. Will it be used to address the nearly 400 or approaching 400? Probably not. But certainly I think we have to consider tools like this for some of the more critical promotions. Because you have to understand, you can't even fill a post unless a promotion happens.